Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. And now it's time for the RC with Adam live experience. Hey everybody, welcome back to RC with Adam. We are live. My name is Adam. So good to be back here with you. Thanks for joining me. I see we have some people in the chat. We got Luca, we got Cody, we got Frags, we got Cheyenne, we got Frags, we got Cody, we got Luca. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. As usual, this is a time when I like to make myself available to you guys live to hopefully help answer your RC questions. And I say beginner questions because a lot of times people think that like a question, you know, they might be like, oh, I don't want to ask this question, it's too dumb or something like that. Well, no question is too dumb for me because I'm a pretty dumb guy. So anyway, hopefully we'll be able to help resolve some issues that you have. And we're just going to have a good time. We're just going to have a good time and hang out, talk some RC stuff. And we're going to look at some flight footage today as well, because last week we did not get the chance to do that. And I have with me right here my freshly built, well, it's been like a week or whatever, 3-inch Cinewoop. And guys, I got to tell you, I am not, well, to be honest, I'm just not impressed. I'm not impressed with this. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the flight controller. I don't know, but we're going to look at some of that flight footage from the GoPro and the camera and the FPV camera. I am impressed with the FPV camera, actually. I like it a lot. It's Runcam Phoenix 2, which is funny because I just bought that, and then like they come out with the Eagle 3 or 4 or 6 or whatever it was. So anyway, welcome to the show today. And we do have some sort of exciting announcements as well. And so I will get to any of your questions that you have in the chat, but go ahead and pop them in there and tag me at RCwithAdam in the chat. So that way I know that you are trying to talk to me. Let me make sure so everybody can see me and hear me properly, probably. Okay, I think so. All right, cool. So first of all, just a couple announcements. In case you don't know, I have a website. I've had it for a while now, and right now it's mostly just what is. Ooh, look at that guy. That looks like a fun video. You should go watch that one. Right now it's just mostly my videos that I have on here, and so it's sort of put into like a blog format. But I am going to be sort of redoing the site, adding more cool stuff, and some and sort of using it to store like as a resource information and helpful things that are best in written format, that sort of stuff. So anyway, keep an eye on that on the website, just in case you don't know. I do have a website. And also in case you want to support me, support the channel RC with Adam and the mission here, you can click on the link in the description of this. It should be in the description of this live stream, and you can support me on I don't know how to pronounce it. Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/RCwithAdam, and you can support me on here. It's basically like Patreon. You can do, I think right now it's PayPal only. So if you have a PayPal account, you can do that. And what you can do here is you can do a one-time amount, or you can do a monthly recurring amount. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having some like bonus perk, cool stuff for the monthly subscribers or the monthly supporters. So I'm really excited about that. This is my first time kind of doing this sort of thing, and I'm really hoping that it will allow me to continue doing this sustainably, to be honest with you. And as it says right here, I am here to help you build competence and confidence in the RC hobby and beyond, because I don't know about you, but the RC hobby has changed my life for the better very much. And I've built so much competence, skills, hands-on technique and stuff, and confidence which is how I'm able to like talk to you people right now. So anyway, if you are interested in supporting that and supporting me, you can go over there and check that out. And also I do want to say, so fun segue, or not really a segue. Is it a segue if you have to say it's a segue? I don't know. But something that is coming up. Wait, where am I? I'm lost. Okay, here we go. All right, cool, great. Something that is coming up is I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be doing some testing, something that you'll see more of. And like one of the bonuses for monthly supporters. Oh, by the way, so sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you are interested in becoming a monthly supporter, I would love to hear what kind of bonuses and just kind of, you know, neat extra things that you would like to have as a monthly supporter, because I want to, you know, I want to give you guys a little something extra special since you're supporting me. And one thing I was thinking of might be like behind the scenes type of stuff. And so some of that type of thing would be in, like, you know, as I work on projects instead of just the finished project, in case you're interested in that kind of stuff. And one of those projects that's coming up is this stuff right here. This is, what is it? How do you pronounce this? This is olefin block copolymer, or OBC filament from 3D Fuel. And I just want to give a big shout out to them because they sent this to me to test out. And also, John, super guy John, he hooked me up with this direct drive converter kit for my CR10, which you see right back there. So, because apparently you have to have a direct drive to use that filament. And so he said, hey, we'll just, you know, we'll hook you up with this thing from Fargo 3D printing right over here. Fargo 3D printing right there. So go check those guys out. I think I bought some filament from them before, but I love the 3D Fuel filament. This is not like a sponsored advertisement or something, but I do want to give them a shout out because they were super cool about that. But anyway, this stuff is what I'm excited about because this is like supposed to be very like it could be flexible filament if it's printed in like a thin format, but it can also be very rigid and durable. And it's kind of, they're saying it's kind of like polypropylene, but it prints like better. It's easier to print and stuff. So anyway, we're going to be seeing more of that on the channel. And the reason why I'm excited about that is because remember last week when I was printing on the CR10, I was printing that wing for the Mini Hawk 5 VTOL that's coming out. Well, here it is. Here's the wing, and I think it printed out super great. I don't know how it's going to come through on the stream, but you can see it is clear, not totally clear, but you can see through it, translucent, I suppose. I'm not sure if this actually with clear filament, it's actually kind of hard to tell how well something printed out. Just by looking at it. But anyway, I think this printed out pretty well. It looks really cool in any case. It seems fairly durable, but in any case, what I'm thinking is that new filament should be really good for the Mini Hawk. So I don't know, I don't think I'll have enough to print everything, but I might print like the nose section, like the fuselage section. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's going on there, because that's part of what you get when you hang out with me live, is we get to kind of, you know, catch up on things and talk about upcoming stuff. So before we get any further, I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Welcome. It looks like we have, let's see what, yeah, so we got Luca. Hi, Luca. We got Cody. Hi, Cody. We got Frags. Hi, Frags. And let's see, somebody said, Cody says he's got enough parts to build 3 quads today. That is like 5-inch quads. That's a lot of parts, man. That's congratulations. Good for you. That's very cool. I don't think I've ever, are you going to build them all in one day? I don't think I've ever built 3. I don't know if I've ever built an entire quad in one day. Usually it ends up being kind of like a 2-day process a little bit. But that is very cool. Shyam Sundar's Tech Talks says, is SPF3 good for beginners, sir? Thank thank you for your question. It's fine. It's like, okay, so you can fly just fine. I fly my Wizard X220 around still, and that uses the SP Racing F3 flight controller. But it is very outdated, so do keep that in mind. I don't think it has an OSD on there unless there's a version with an OSD. Basically, all the F3 boards are like kind of outdated. Pardon me. And so really the problem, what I realize is that really the problem is that not even so much like will it fly okay, but you won't be able to use the latest firmware. Or no, what I mean is, as the firmware becomes more advanced, like the Betaflight firmware, as it becomes more advanced and the files get larger, the quadcopter, the memory on the flight controller might not actually be large enough to hold the latest version. I think that's the case because Betaflight's up to like what, 4.2 point something now, and I think that's the case with the F3, the SP Racing F3, or at least I think Betaflight had to get rid of some features so that it would fit on there, something like that. So yes, it would work just fine. The thing is, I was thinking about this, is that it's like you would think that you could build like an incredibly cheap quad, like, oh, I built this 5-inch quad for like $30 because I'm using outdated parts. But it seems like there's actually not that big of a difference between like more like up-to-date flight controllers, or at least the budget up-to-date flight controllers, and the older stuff as well. And I'll tell you another thing. Well, after I read this other question, because what is this? What Frag says? Frag says I have one that looks like it would build 3. It's in that many parts, so it's actually just in so many parts that, yeah, that must have been a bad crash. Wow. Yeah, and that's what, and Frag said the same thing like a little while ago. So, but that's good. I'm glad that you guys jump in on the chat when I'm not able to. So that's excellent. But yeah, it's fine. Like, you could still fly it, but it is getting old. Yeah, Frag says the clear filament wings would look great with LEDs at night. Yes, I think so as well. I think these guys put some LEDs on here, and actually the way that this is designed, I haven't tested this out yet, but there's supposed to be a channel somewhere in here. There's actually, he designed a channel in here, like a little tube, so that you can run lights all the way to the wingtips. Actually, on that side, yeah, you can't really see that, but on the, yeah, running out to the wingtips. But yeah, I think just running like a strip of LEDs down the, probably like face down on the top or something, that would look pretty sweet. That'd be cool. I thought there was something else I was going to say about that, but I don't think so. I don't think there was. Yes, exactly. And something about speaking of flight controllers, I'll tell you what, one of the reasons why I love this hobby is because you never stop learning, and really you can't stop learning, because if you stop learning, then you're gonna fall behind pretty quickly. So it is a constant endeavor to stay up to date on technology and stuff, because quad years are like, I don't know, a month in normal years. Like, there's just always new stuff coming out. It can be kind of frustrating, and so if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling frustrated because you're like, man, I don't know what to get, I don't know what to buy, and everything just new keeps coming out, what's going on? I totally relate to that. But I learned something just yesterday about flight controllers, because I just I hadn't really paid much attention to them, because it's, I'm a pretty simple guy to please. So it's like, hey, if the flight controller's like working and it's doing what it's supposed to do, I don't know. But I did learn that the difference between the F4 and F7 boards is the Wait, there was something. Oh, I was thinking. Okay, well, one of the big things is like where the RX or the RX pads and the TX pads that you can, you don't have to have there doesn't have to be a designated one for S bus. So that was cool, and also the like the processing power and stuff like that. So that was interesting. Oh, also. Oh yeah, what the other thing I learned about flight controller boards, which really made me feel kind of dumb, but that's okay because now I know and now I feel smart, is that I guess the flight controller stack sizing, okay, usually it's like, I think the smallest is 16 by 16, but I haven't used any of those, but it's like 16 by 16, 20 by 20, and that's like the whole spacing. And then we say 30 by 30, and then there's like 25 by 25, but it's actually 25.5 by 25.5, and 30 by 30 is actually 30.5 by 30.5, not 35.5. Now it's just confusing, but anyway, I just learned that because I was designing that adapter, and I was like, this doesn't fit for some reason, and it turns out that it's because it was the wrong size. So just a fun little story for you there. That's delicious. If you have a cup of something delicious, let's go ahead and take a sip. Man, delicious. Okay. All right. So as promised, we are now going to, if I can sort of navigate my way around all these screens, we are going to get into some fright footage right here. Let me get this guy up. By the way, if I furrow my brow, it's not because I'm angry. It's just because there's like a bright light shining in my face. Oh, let's see what's going on here. So, as I've sort of been talking about over the past, like, I think 3 weeks now, about building a 3-inch Cinewoop. I tell you what, man, time flies. Time flies. It's just crazy. And that's not supposed to be a pun. That'd be a really lame pun. This Cinewoop, so I haven't put out the Cinewoop build yet because I haven't really been very happy with it. And honestly, I feel like I kind of maybe picked some parts that don't work very well because of, well, basically because of the end result. And the end result is what we're going to be looking at right now. If I can just find these, oh boy, if I can just find these flights right here. So I have tested out a bunch of different propellers. Let me find, let's see. Well, first of all, I don't want to blast your ears out. So let me make sure that the computer audio is turned way down. Because, I mean, I could give you audio if you want it, but there's really not much to, to actually listen to. But let me see if I can get this up. So just give me one second here. Okay. Yeah, not that one. No, let's do a different one. Let's do this one. No, this one. No. I should have looked through these before. My apologies. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna find it here. All right, this looks good. Or does this have stabilization? I feel like this is cropped. This is 2.7K. I fell over. Why did I fall? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just show. I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you here. All right. Let's bring it up here on the screen and kabam! There we go. So here we are. Let's see. We're gonna start flying here. Let's see. I have the audio off, I think. Okay. Oh, sorry. My bad. Let's get rid of that because that won't work. Because I need to. Well, that's just my crotch. No, hang on. Is it this one? Because I was having issues getting this thing to actually work right. No, that's just me talking to the camera. Wow. It's almost like I should have planned this out better. Okay, all right, here we go. Some flight footage here. Okay, so I'm not sure which kind of propellers I'm using. But anyway, the point is, so let's watch this together if we can. Here we go. We're taking off. This is the 3-inch Cinewoop. that I just built here. And I have a GoPro Hero 8 on here. I think the camera settings are not ideal for like cinematic type of stuff. It's, oh shoot, my apologies. Okay. Where did that, what? Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so what I'm noticing, what I don't like and what I'm noticing here is that there's a bunch of wobble. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but there's quite a bit of wobble. Now, I have not stabilized these yet. I've not tried stabilizing these in post. I don't know if the wobble would just go away totally. And also, to be honest with you, and this is a question I have for you, if you have a Cinewoop, and Arnob Vlogs, hello. If you have a Cinewoop, does it normally look this wobbly, or is it more stable? Because to me, it just seems really wobbly. And I'm not talking about the rates. I'm talking, excuse me, I'm talking about like just when I'm flying forward, there's just kind of this like sort of a rolling, you know what I mean? Kind of a wobble. There's a wobble going on. You see how, yeah, when I'm just going straight and I'm trying to just fly straight like normal, it's like wobble, gobble, gobble, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not super happy about that. Also, the motors, I think I may have gotten too low of a kV of motor for this, unfortunately, because I got 2800 kV motors, because they didn't have, I think they were out of stock of the 3600, and I didn't want to go all the way to the 4100 kV motors. But now I'm wondering, was that a mistake? And another thing I'm going to try, though, I'm going to try increasing the, I think I'm going to try increasing the idle, or not the idle RPM, the, no, yeah, the RPM of, yeah, the idle, and maybe turning on dynamic idle. So that way it will, like, it will, what am I trying to say? It'll keep more power up overall, because that's what I realized, because this thing has ducts, it really has issues with, if you take the power out and you try to do a dive, it becomes very problematic. So kind of like that, sort of. There's definitely a lot of prop wash going on. It's not a super pretty sight. Not, oh, why do I keep doing that? What is going on? Okay. There we go. I think I just try to land here or something. I land. Okay. So that was, and now here's an important note here, which is one of the things I want to talk about. Wait, where are we? Let's put up, let's just close that for now. We'll close that. Let me go over here. All right, cool. So one of the things that I'm just kind of experimenting here, because this is my first dive into sort of the 3-inch Cinewoop type of thing. And first of all, I'm wondering like, does the 3-inch Cinewoop even make that much sense? It's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, obviously it's been used to capture some amazing footage, but I guess I'm just wondering, like, does it have to be such a small quadcopter most of the time? Because what I noticed is, like, in my flying that I've just been doing in the backyard and around trees and stuff, the ducts, well, the ducts do help in terms of, like, not hitting stuff, but, or you know, protecting the propeller. But I don't know if that's really worth the cost aerodynamically of the ducts, because these ducts are not close enough to the, you know, the propeller is not close enough to the duct to actually give you that sort of increase in thrust. As far as I know, I have not measured this, but based on the research that I've done and what people say about ducted propellers. Now let's bring up, let me show you something else. Right over here. So let's see. How about this guy right here? Maybe that'll, well, let me just, okay, yeah, that'll do. All right. So I just want to show you here. I was just doing some B-roll just to show you a little bit better, closer up, give you a little nicer picture, something to look at. So those are some ducts, or I mean, those are some, those propellers that I was using. I believe those are the HQ Cinewoop propellers. But I found that I like the Gem Fan. I think they're like the 75mm propellers. They're pretty crazy. They look like a boomerang. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. So anyway, I guess I just kind of realized that, like, you know, maybe the 3-inch Cinewoop is actually not as good for as many situations, at least that I would personally need it for, you know, to do some filming. And the reason why I say that is because if I can find it, no, put that over there. Tell you what, man, computers, they just got a mind of their own. They're you can never tell. All right, let me find a video of my budget basher right here somewhere. Probably this one. I think this one. There we go. So that's actually too large. Let's make it smaller. All right, so as I think I talked about in the previous weeks or whatever, and actually not what you saw in this video, but what you've seen in other videos in the intro, this is my 5-inch quadcopter. I call it the budget basher, and this is with the same camera setup. And look how much smoother this is, friends. This is, like, that looks so much better. Now, also partially because of the actual camera, like the way that the camera is, because right now in this shot the light is very even. It's kind of an overcast day, and I think I may have changed, you know, some of the other settings and stuff. So in terms of the actual the colors and things, it might look better. But I'm just thinking in terms of the smoothness, oh, night and day. You know, really. So that's kind of why I'm thinking to myself, like Timothy Nelson, I see you. Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, it's like, oh, it just ended right there. Okay. But anyway, it's way smoother. And so basically what I'm thinking is, like, well, gee golly, maybe a 3-inch quadcopter a ducted 3-inch quadcopter is actually not really what I need to get those, like, super sweet cinematic shots. Now, working around, you know, people and in close proximity, I haven't done a whole lot of that yet. So I think obviously having ducts would help. But then I'm thinking, like, well, shoot, you know, if I need, excuse me, maybe it would be better just to have like a 4 or 5-inch quadcopter with propeller guards, or maybe even just a 3-inch quadcopter with propeller guards and not ducts. You know what I mean? It's like, so just so that if you bump into something, it won't, you know, cut it up, because it's like, it just seems, I guess what I'm saying is it seems like overkill. And I think that the overkill is causing more problems than what it's helping, is what I'm trying to say here. Plus, if you're just a super pilot like me, I mean, what do you really need guards for anyway? You know, propeller guards, ducts. I mean, it's not like you're gonna hit anything or crash ever. Please. Oh boy. But, you know, some people feel better with them. They feel safer because of the spinning blades of death, you know. But, you know, what can I say? All right, now what I want to show you is what we're going to look at together is some more flight footage. Let's pause that, or let's get rid of that. Oh yeah, I want to show you also. So here's another shot. How do I bring this up? We'll do it like this. There we go. So this is what it looks like in the FPV feed. And in case you are not familiar with the FPV stuff, this is what I actually see through the camera in the quadcopter, not the GoPro, but the little camera. And I use my goggles to view this feed, this image. And so this is what it looks like. Although on my screen, it's actually 16:9, but I guess it's recording as 4:3. So I'm not sure what's up with that, to be honest. If you know more about that, why it would record in 4:3 and look in 16:9, or does 16:9 just chop this off? I don't know. I feel like I know that, or knew that. Anyway, this is what it looks like. I think it looks really good. Now this particular flight is at like I think like around 3 in the afternoon. So you see we have some really bright patches of sunlight. But overall, I really like this camera. This is stock. I haven't done anything with this. This is the Runcam Phoenix 2 camera. This happens to be the Joshua Bardwell edition, but I haven't actually messed with changing any of the settings, so I don't even know if it was really that necessary to get the JB edition. But in any case, this is what it looks like, and I feel like it's it's pretty good. Also, the antenna, the feed that I've gotten from the antenna seems to be pretty good as well. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna have a whole parts list for all of these items. In fact, I think I have it. I'll have it live very soon on kit.co, I think, on there. And so I like it quite a bit. But you can see even in this FPV feed that there's like there's just wobble. There's just wobble going on. And not only is it just bad visually, but like in terms of flying the quadcopter, it's just a very different feel, man. I'll tell you what, this made me appreciate a freestyle quad so much, because like just how locked in the freestyle quad is, and you have so much excess power, and you can just do whatever you want, like, and you can fly really fast, really slow. It's very smooth. Yeah, and so like there's a few spots, like maybe right there where I kind of bump into things, and I'm flying through some pretty small gaps, like right there I bumped into something. But most of this could be flown just like with a 5-inch quad or maybe a 4-inch quad. So yeah, it just makes me wonder. And the reason why I say a larger quad is because what I'm thinking is that the actual disc area of the quadcopter, well, you're gonna get more lift, more thrust from a larger propeller, and so that will be helpful in terms of sort of controlling the quad and give you some extra power. And then the other thing is that, yeah, I think if you increase the blade size, you're going to be increasing sort of your area of I don't know, if you could sort of think of it like the cloud of air that you're on, I guess, kind of. If you're on this little cloud, it's like a little column shooting down, from the quadcopter that's holding it up. And so if you start to drift to this side, the column of air is going to sort of move out from under the quadcopter very quickly. That is a super unscientific description, and probably inaccurate in many ways, but that's kind of how I think of it. Yeah, I mean, it's controllable, but and then I do wonder though, maybe is it my flight controller as well, or maybe I messed it up by getting the 2800 kV motors, because maybe it really needs a higher kV. Whoosh, going right over top of me. And I'll tell you what, guys, this thing is loud. And when it goes right over you, it's like it's pushing down a lot of air. Pretty intense stuff. And here I think I'm going to land it on the bucket. Am I going to land it? Oh, come on. Oh, it somersaulted off the top of the bucket that was filled with spiders. Also, I don't know if these numbers are accurate. I'll have to like hook up a watt meter, a power meter thing, because I'm just not sure if this is accurate or not. Because max current 7 amps, that seems awful low to me. And then also the milliamp hours used 247 milliamp hours. That doesn't really seem right, because you see the voltage, or well, can you see it back here? 3.65. That's some pretty low voltage. Like that's, I think, down to like about 20, probably about 20%. And that's, so yeah, once you get down to about that much, or at least usually, well, I am running some pretty older battery packs, so they may kind of drop off towards the end. So that could just be a thing with my batteries. But in any case, I'm not sure how accurate it is exactly, or how accurate these ending measurements are. In the chat, somebody said something. I know you did. Frag says, only quad around the Cinewoop size I have is Q95 with 2.5-inch props that looks smoother flying than the Whoop. Must be the ducts. And Timothy Nelson says, LOL. Yeah, well, okay, so here's the thing. So, okay, I got distracted again, which is basically normal. So everything's working fine then if I get distracted. So let me bring up this video for you. Actually, I believe this is the same video, but this is with the GoPro. So let me just put that like that. There we go. So it looks, looks pretty good, with the GoPro as it normally does. But you see how we get this like extra wobble. And some of the wobbles are from me because I'm trying to adjust my rates. I'm trying to get my rates working right and all that sort of thing. Overcorrecting is a problem. So that looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. But notice how even when we just go straight, we do get some kind of up and down, a little bit of wobble. It doesn't look too bad. You could probably, if you put that in an image stabilizer in video editing software, that would probably look just fine, actually. And part of the reason why this looks better than the other videos, than the previous HD, the GoPro videos that we just looked at, is because I mounted the battery on the bottom of the quadcopter, which I think is a big deal. So instead of, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. So instead of having your battery, I don't have one with me, but instead of having your battery on the top, we'll use this thing. It sort of looks like a battery. My whole thing is like, you have all this weight, the weight of the GoPro, the weight of the battery. It's all above well, I guess, what would you call that? The center line of thrust. Basically, it's all above the propellers, which to me seems like you're making a top heavy situation. And, it's a lot harder to balance a baseball bat when it's standing upright on your hand, as opposed to like, holding the bat and having it just hang below your hand. I don't know how I came up with that analogy, but that's kind of the situation. So you're getting a top heavy situation to me. And so I think that doesn't really make sense. Now, I think a top mounted battery is nice in some cases, to protect the battery. I do think that makes sense, but definitely, I think having it mounted on the bottom here is going to be way better. And honestly, I think having the GoPro on the top is probably not a great idea either. What I want to do, or maybe there've already been frames out there, but I think it would make a freaking heck of a lot more sense to have the GoPro mounted directly, like have the frame right here extend out a little bit, and then Well, I mean, you'd have to change up the whole frame design, because you don't want weight extending way past the motors, because then that's going to throw it off balance in that way. But if you have things more in line, I feel like that would just work a lot better, instead of having the GoPro up top or the battery on the bottom. I mean, if anything, I think the battery on the bottom is good. I mean, I think as low as you can get the battery would be better, but that's, I mean, I don't know. What do I know? I would love to hear what other Cinewoop pilots think, because it seems to me like that would be just a way better way of doing stuff. So that looks okay. Yeah, kind of some bobble there, but definitely improved. Let's see, and then yeah, so definitely improved with having the battery mounted on the bottom. Frag says my Eachine E010 has a similar wobble through the FPV camera. Just checked it. Which one is that? The E010? Isn't that like a tiny micro, if I'm not mistaken? Let's take a look at another one here, if I can find it. So there was another one that I picked for us to look at, and that is this guy right here. I want to make sure we're not gonna cut off the edges. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Okay. So let's look at this one here. Oh yeah, I realized I forgot to set up the arming angle on this one. There we go. Let's see how this one went. What did that one? Oh, I crashed at some point. All right, let's take a look at this. And I think there was some sort of interesting note about this one as well. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get a little bit of audio. Again, I don't want to blast you guys out. Let me see here. And we want to do this. Oh yes, that's right. So on this one, I was testing out just to see, how it would do with the acrobatic movements. Whoops. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. I want that set to my, yeah, that's good. Close. Okay, can you hear that? I think you can hear it. I'm bringing up the sound. It does not sound pleasant. That's the other thing. Like the 5-inch quads sound pretty bad, but this thing, a little 3-inch quad with a heavy load on it, namely a GoPro and like a big old battery. I have not tried this with a really light battery, like an 850 milliamp hour, but anyway, so here, it does look pretty good. It looks pretty cool. It's just, I guess I'm kind of comparing it to my 5-inch quad, which maybe that's not a good idea because it's totally different. But what I noticed is like you need to have a lot of throttle to really get this thing to behave properly. And so like when you're flying forward, and I have barely any camera tilt. I have like almost zero camera tilt, probably like 5 degrees of camera tilt. And there I go, flying through something. So see, like I'm not even going through like little tiny gaps that like only a 3-inch quad could fit through. But anyway, so right there, yeah. So a big part of that was that if we scroll that back, so let's watch that again. So I do a roll. I think part of it was that I didn't come back on the throttle fast enough, and then it's like the ducts are just messing with they're really messing with the motors in terms of like, so I don't know, like blocking the air. Let's see, was this the one? Did I do that? Did I do it? Okay, yeah, let's go back to where I did some flips and rolls here. And it was like, it was almost like it's almost like the flight controller is like, it's like overdoing it. That one worked out okay. So I mean, obviously there's definitely a technique factor and just a practicing factor. But yeah, sharp movements or sort of like trying to dive into things, not super great. And I think I was using the same gem fan propellers. That worked out okay. I think if you do a full flip or roll and like you land exactly like if you do like a perfect 360 sort of, not like that, then I think it works out okay. Like I said, I'm just gonna have to practice more. So I don't want to blame things on the quadcopter or the concept even of the 3-inch Cinewoop. But it wasn't enlightening, because it did make me realize that for a lot of this type of flying, if you're not flying indoors and around like expensive things and people, maybe a Cinewoop really isn't even necessary. And it's almost like one of those things where it's like you just think you need a Cinewoop because it's called a Cinewoop, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but I am interested in hearing other people's take on this as well, for sure. Yeah, flying forward, you really gotta give it some throttle for sure, because it acts weird. Like I did notice when I was sort of pitching forward, and then flying forward, if I would turn, it felt like the motor would like suddenly kick on, almost like the duct had been like, I don't know, like restricting the airflow to the motor, and then when I turned the duct enough, it's like the motor did, I don't know, it felt unnatural. Felt very strange, and then well, bam. Now part of that I think is my problem, because I pitched back too much. I think I was still trying to get these rates a little bit right, but also there just wasn't enough power. There was not enough power to just get out of there. So, man, it makes me want to go fly some freestyle stuff like really bad. I gotta get my rates figured out on the budget basher, because I've just been doing the rates like for this type of flying, for like the super smooth Cinewoop flying is what I've been trying to do it for, but I don't know that what I need to do is just make a rate profile for that and then put that on a switch, if I can figure out how to put that on a switch. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out for sure. Has anybody else flown this week? Have you guys been able to fly? Or what have you been flying? Also, I'm curious. I think that's pretty much all I've been flying, is the 3-inch Cinewoop right now. Let's see, what was I looking for? So that's, yeah, so I find that very interesting. Was there anything else? I should really probably have like a list of what I'm going to talk about every live stream, but it's more fun to just kind of wing it. Hilarious. Jonathan McQuarter says Tiny Hawk 2. All right. I don't know what that's in response to. Oh, you've been flying the Tiny Hawk 2. Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget my own questions. Very cool. The Tiny Hawk 2. Man, I have the Tiny Hawk S, and I have not flown it in a while. The camera's kind of messed up, but I did get some more batteries for it, but I still have not flown it. I feel like I need to fly it more. I really do. Let me bring up Oh, do I recommend the Mockingbird project for it? I don't know. I haven't tried the Mockingbird project. Let's see, the Mockingbird project. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I know that's the one for the small stuff. I'm trying to remember what because you know, there's just sort of like a bunch of offshoots, because there's like the Emu Flight thing. I'm trying to remember if Emu Flight is an offshoot of the Mockingbird project or vice versa. Because I was listening to that interesting interview with that guy whose name I don't remember on Joshua Bardwell's channel about the was it Project Mock, or well, it was the, what is it? It's the newbie drone. I want to say it's the Emu Flight edition, or it's some edition micro. But anyway, it's a brushed micro, and it was interesting how they were talking about the firmware for that. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, as far as the Mockingbird project, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I don't really fly, because I if I recall, that's the one for the micros, and I just don't really fly those types of micros or brushed micros enough to really tell. You know, I've been telling myself for a long time, like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna get, I must get a toothpick quadcopter to just like rip around, you know, because toothpicks, they just look so fun, because it looks like as much fun as like a 5-inch freestyle quad, but like it's just super tiny, and in some cases like super quiet as well. But I haven't, and I don't know why I haven't. I mean, I probably have the parts to make one, but everything has just been in pieces lately, which is, you know, sort of, I don't know. You know how it goes. You just have those projects that just like kind of go on and on and on. Actually, let me show you something here that I did do something. So I'll just share that with you. I did build a frame for the well, it's supposed to be for the Eachine Cinecan, and it looks like that is the Cinecan frame. Ah, jeez. Oh golly. Okay, never mind. That was the Cinecan frame that I was holding. Okay, this frame right here that I designed, but I didn't quite get the measurements right. So it's a 3D printed frame. I think it actually looks pretty cool. It's actually more durable than I would have thought. But anyway, it looks like that. If you can sort of see that there, I think. And but I got the sizes wrong. So I just didn't allow enough room, like for the flight controller and stuff, because I kind of forgot that like the flight controller actually sticks out past its mounting holes. So there's that. But otherwise, the concept is that you would, let me bring up a picture. I have a screenshot of the model. It's only a model. Let me bring up a picture of the screenshot I have somewhere. Right here. Oh, that's not a good shot of it. Wait a minute. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let me try this. Oh, yeah. That's what it looks like right there. So, that, or let me, right there. Yeah. So, that's the concept. Oh, that's the, it's hilarious. So this is the concept. Let me bring this so you can actually see it. There we go. All right. So that's what this looks like. Just something I whipped up, but it didn't actually work out. So, but it's kind of cool. I built like these. I don't know if I ever zoom in here. Oh, that's in Cura. So that's what it looks like in Cura. Right there. Woo. Woo. Yeah. So anyway, the idea is that you'd have a 25 by 25 stack, which is actually 25.5 by 25.5, but we're just going to call it 25 by 25 stack mounting holes diagonal over here, which sort of squeezes in to the, like sort of squeezes in there. Sorry, it fits nicely in between the ducts here, sort of that little corner shape that the ducts make. And then you have the 20 by 20 stack, which would be a for the Cadex tarsier. And then up here on the front, you would have the camera. And then I was thinking about possibly like just some sort of a, I don't know, some sort of a plate, some kind of a plate that goes over the top to like seal everything up. But honestly, like a lot of times, depending on the type of, because this would be sort of like a little Cinewoop, like an actual Cinewoop, like a little, like an HD whoop, I guess you would call it. And you know, if you're flying it not like a freestyle quad, then you don't really have to be too concerned about it, you know, about having exposed parts. But that was the idea. And then we have a tri-pattern hole mounting for those motors, which are actually a big pain. I really wish that those motors were just like regular square holes, but they're not. And then we have like 4 sort of actually angled, I angled them, but I don't know if that really is a very smart thing to do, but sort of like blades almost extending to sort of hold the motor mounting. Also right here on the blades, what I realized is that I didn't allow enough room. I'm not actually in Fusion, so I can't zoom. This is just a video of it, but I didn't allow enough room for the motor, basically, so there's not enough clearance. Basically just all around in a bunch of different dimensions, there's not enough clearance, but that's kind of how it goes when you just sort of, you know, whip something together. Overall, I think it's kind of a cool concept, and it is stronger than well, than I would have thought that it would be. So, you know, because the idea, and the ducts are a little too small as well. So basically everything is just a little too small, but I wanted it to be like really compact, because what I'm thinking is like, I'm really getting tired of the quadcopter designs where it's like a super tall quadcopter stack, you know? I feel, well, one, I think that in a crash, that seems like you're going to have way more stress on this sort of the canopy up here. Now, if it has a good canopy, then it'll probably be all right. But also the other thing is like, just for carrying this thing, or if you're trying to, you know, put it into a case or in a bag or whatever, especially larger quadcopters, it's just, if it's really tall, it just makes it a lot more difficult. So I really like the idea of sort of slim, streamlined quadcopters. Excuse me, streamlined quadcopters. And so I think I'll be exploring that more. The only thing here is like, where do you put the battery? I don't know. I guess I was thinking of putting the battery like across here on the bottom using like a rubber band. And it's hard to see this thing. It would be cool to kind of put the battery almost like across the back here, but I don't think the balance would work well enough to do that. Yeah, because it basically, I mean, in flight, it wouldn't really matter, like having the battery on the bottom, because if you're talking about like storing this thing, see, if you could just have it this tall, I think that would be very, very cool. And it's actually pretty durable. Like these motor mounts, when they're all together. Let me see if can I do this? Adjust this. Ooh, adjusting the focus. Ooh. Not sure how well you can really see that though. Something like that? No, like that. No, like that. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So you can see the motor mounts there. They work pretty well. I mean, I haven't actually used it yet, but they don't snap right away. So I'm thinking that they might work well. And this is with, what did I print this with? I printed this with 3D Fuel PLA Pro, or Pro PLA. Midnight Black. Midnight Black is what I printed it with. Let's see. Focus. There we go. Boom. Focus. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah. Jonathan has got the E013 FPV ready to fly for inside the house. That is fun. I need to do more house flying. I really do. In fact, I need to test out my goggles reception for house flying. That's a good idea. Anish Patil. Anish, hello. Welcome. Anish asks, how are ducts useful in a quadcopter? And Jonathan says protection, and that is correct. They definitely do protect the quadcopter, and like you see here in this design, I have ducts on here. And now the thing is like, well, and part of the reason why these ducts are too small in this design was because I wanted like very little clearance. And so like I'll say technically, because it's not theory, ducts do improve the thrust performance of the engine of the propeller. Sorry, engine. And that is why essentially a turbine engine is basically a ducted propeller. It's different shapes and all that kind of stuff. But the idea is that if you can enclose the propeller blade tips and get like incredibly tight tolerances, then you'll have a much more efficient blade. And I guess it does work with Cinewhoops, but the whole thing about Cinewhoops and the whole idea behind the ducts, or I guess originally with the Shendrone's Squirt Cinewoop, like the original Cinewoop, was that the propellers would actually rub into the ducts. And so because the ducts, I think they were printed at TPU, I want to say the ducts were printed out of TPU, and so they would just rub into there and have like basically like just enough of a gap to not have too much friction against the ducts, but be able to fly and have a really tight seal. And so that's kind of why I wonder if it's really worth it to have ducts. Here's another shot. This is a shot of the frame on the Cinewoop that I just built, and so you see we have the ducts here, and they just kind of attach it to the frame. I have a video about this particular frame in case you're interested in getting more specs and details about it. But anyway, yeah, and so but because the propellers tend to not actually get close enough, as close as they need to be to the duct. Dante Supreme, good morning, Dante. Because they don't actually get close enough, what you end up with is basically just propeller guards, is essentially what they are. And that's not that helpful. Let me do that with the Kabayam. All right, check. Okay, so it's not really that helpful because like this right here, so you can see, well, maybe you can't. No, yeah, you can see right there. There is a big gap. Like I'm talking a couple millimeters of a gap, and you need to have like a really good seal. You need like, I don't even know, 0.1 millimeters, like something just ridiculously small to have a really good seal on here. I think I get some, because I'm just taking some B-roll here, but this works out pretty well to show you guys, give you a little sneak peek of some of this. I will put up a build video anyway, even though it just didn't really turn out like how I wanted it to. I'm trying to get some artsy shots with that flame in the background, but it doesn't really work out. Anyway, so that's how I have had mine set up with the battery on the top, and I'm like, does that really make sense? I don't think so. If anything, I would put the GoPro and the battery on the bottom, and then I thought about actually just flipping the quadcopter over and inverting it like I did with some other, like with another quadcopter. And I actually have a whole tutorial about doing that, about flipping the quadcopter over. In actual fact, Okay, okay. I see now. I see why that's happening. And honestly, I think that might be an interesting idea. Because if you you swap the propellers, and then you have to do some magic in Betaflight, and then you just flip it over, but then you'd have to like reverse the GoPro mount so that it points upwards. Obviously not exactly the safest thing for your GoPro, because if you're skimming the ground, the GoPro is the very first thing that is going to get smacked. So yeah, that could be bad. Also, well, especially if you fly around concrete. That's something else that I kind of forget about, is like, I don't fly around concrete like ever. But if you're flying in, around, structures, bandos, buildings, and you're flying around concrete, then I could see how having the GoPro on the top for sure, and then having the ducts, or possibly, padded ducts, that could be really nice. So I don't know. I might do something with this thing and swap some stuff around. We shall see. But as I said, I will have the build video coming out, just in case you want to, I don't know, just in case you maybe will learn something from that build video, even though it didn't really turn out like I wanted it to, because I wanted it to be more of like a kind of like an instructional sort of beginner budget Cinewoop build. But I don't want to steer you wrong into, getting the wrong parts and saying, oh yeah, this thing's super great, when it may not be. But as I said, I'm not sure if this is just my experience or if all Cinewhoops are kind of like this. Also, tuning could be a factor. It's like PID tuning, that could be a consideration as well. Kyle Rodriguez, hello, good morning from here, and good time of day wherever you are. Man. Frag says, talking FPV goggles, I now have some SkyZone V01s, but need to mod them to have a cooling fan like the Fat Shark goggles. Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely a cooling fan. And you know what? My cooling fan on my Scouts, my Fat Shark Scouts, yeah, it works okay, but it's still like, when it's hot outside, it still fogs up. Like, I want like a cooling fan that's like I want my eyeballs to be dried out. The cooling fan is so good. In fact, I want the cooling fan to be so good that I need to have a heater in my goggles, because okay, actually, never mind. I guess we're not actually talking about cooling. We're talking about a fan to sort of like blow the air away from the screen. But anyway, yeah, definitely you want to have some good cooling, or good airflow, I guess, in your goggles for sure. Jonathan says, what's the best bang for your buck transmitter for a noob? And I think everybody's probably going to know what I'm going to say. And that is that I would take a very good look at the FlySky FSI6X. With some caveats there. Oh, why did that happen? I don't know. Okay. With some caveats, because if we look at, where did it go? I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah. It also depends on where you want to buy from as well. Because like if we buy, well, let's go to Race Day Quads. Race Day Quads. Probably should spell that correctly. Quads. Oh yeah, this is a cool thing I was going to talk about, but I forgot to. But now I remembered. The FPV Unlocked. We're going to be looking into that some more on this channel. It's very interesting to me. So that might be something. To take a look at. FPV Unlocked. It's like a video learning series or something for FPV, which is very cool, because that is like something that I've been wanting to do, is create a course. But anyway, if we look at the FlySky transmitters, I don't even know if they have the FlySky. So basically, okay, the short answer because I'm kind of notorious for like going off on tangents when in answering a question. Short answer, FlySky FSI6X. Slightly longer answer, but you might want to check out the Jumper series of radios, because Jumper, I can't remember which one it is though, but the Jumper is known for being able to use different types of radio protocols, and which is useful. But also, let's see, I'm trying to think, the Jumper, but also you could just get like a module to put into various types of radios, a module that you could control, you know, FlySky radios as well. So here's the i6X. How much is this for? 53. Yeah, that's a good price. And with the IA6B, so that's kind of a chunky receiver. If we're talking quads, it'll work for a quad. You know, you can do iBus with it. Yeah, you can do iBus with that one. But that's a great receiver for planes especially, and you know, you could use it for either, which is cool. And this is the transmitter right here. This is what I have. This is my, you know, favorite of the. I between the i6 and the i6S, I like the i6X the most. And Daniel, hi there, Daniel. Welcome, Daniel. Everybody, welcome, Daniel. Welcome, Daniel. Jonathan McCorder says Amazon. And Daniel says Banggood. And yeah, either of those places. Also, yeah, there is a link actually to both of those places in the description of this live stream. I think there should be, and it should be like Amazon and Banggood. And if you use those links, you will be supporting me and this channel, which is super cool. Yeah, let's go over to Amazon here. Amazon.com. And let's look up, what was I looking up? Well, the FlySky i6X. So it looks, well, let's see, the first one that pops up. You know, the funny thing about that, if you shop on Amazon, it's like usually like the one that Amazon suggests, it usually is the best one to buy, but then like I'll end up looking around because like I just don't trust it, and I'm like, ah, Amazon, you're just trying to push that on me. But then like I end up going back to this one anyway. Oh, so anyway, yeah, so it's pretty much the same deal, also pretty much the same price, but like, you know, I mean, you know, to be honest with you guys, I like that, you know, I like it when you guys support me and use these links and buy from places like Amazon and Banggood. I do appreciate that. But if you can, you know, buy it from Race Day Quads or Get FPV or I don't know, Ready Made RC or something like that, because you know those guys are like in the hobby, and so I feel like that more directly supports the hobby. But I totally get it, you know, if you shop on Amazon or Banggood or wherever, because I mean I do as well. Anyway, just want to throw that out there. But yeah, this guy right here, I mean, man, for $52, I feel like there's just, it's such a good price. This, I don't think I would recommend this one. I was just looking at this one because I may be reviewing this one if they send it to me. I'm not sure if they are going to, but this one, my initial impression on this one is I don't like it because you have to use your smartphone, it shows here somewhere, to adjust like the settings, which could be okay if you just leave the settings alone and you don't ever change anything, because personally I don't want to have a smartphone whenever I use it. But anyway, that was just like a little aside. So, but I wouldn't recommend that one for the moment. And then what's this? We have so there's the radio link. I know some people like radio link. Let's see, are there any jumper radios on here? Let's look up jumper, not jumper cables, jumper RC, let's say RC radio or something like that. Yeah, okay, there's the Jumper T12 Pro radio. Jumper T6, T16. I like the form factor of the T16 more than the T12. I don't know why radios are so big most of the time. Like, what is up with that? I mean, I get it if you have large hands, like sometimes it's easier to use, but like, come on, guys, the radios don't need to be that big. Like, there's usually just air in there anyway. the FreeSky Tyrannus. Personally, I wouldn't recommend a Tyrannus, at least the newer ones, because of the access protocol thing. They're kind of redoing all of their they're like making a new line of radios that, or no, is that right? They're making a new line of radios that don't work with previous versions of the receivers, so you have to buy new receivers. I believe that's the case. I believe that's correct. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely take a look at that one. Possibly the jumper. What is this? The T12, the T16. Well, let's take a look at this one. I mean, this one's a little cheaper, so I think this was more of the original one. This is the Pro, which I'm not sure if this is... I don't know. I'm not super familiar with these, to be honest with you. Let's see. It looks like this does have... It has a module bay. Interesting. Yeah, so the thing is like a lot of people, you know, buy like Crossfire or let's go back to Race Day Quads. RaceDayQuads.com. A lot of people end up getting like a Crossfire module. And I misspelled that, but a Crossfire module. Or like the new Ghost protocol. The Ghost module. Where is it? Is that really hard to... Come on now. Come on now. Crossfire module. Okay, I don't know why this is so difficult to find, but... Or unless I'm looking... Am I looking at the wrong thing? No, I think that's what it is. Or anyway, basically a drop-in module. So if you have a module bay, which is basically just like a little hole in the back of the... Or a little cutout in the back of the transmitter, it allows you to put different modules in there that I think they use a standardized like pin system. And so essentially what I'm saying is that if you end up using a module, it doesn't really matter which type of radio you get in terms of the protocol, in terms of like the brand protocol, because potentially you could get a FlySky radio but then get a module for Crossfire, and then you'd just be using Crossfire receivers anyway. So anywho, I still think the i6X is going to be your best bet for that. I mean, you know, because it's like $52. I mean, I just don't see how you can beat that. Is it the best? No, it's not the best. But is it good enough? You're darn right it is. Anish says, when is the next video coming out on the i6X? As soon as I make it. Actually, well, I've almost covered almost all the features of all that. I think the only one, one of the things that I need to do is show how to swap the little adjustable wheel and undo the spring on that, and then also also the comparison video, which is also coming. It will be coming. So fairly soon, relatively soon, we'll say. Daytona FPV, welcome Daytona FPV, says the Radio Master T16 is way better than the Jumper products. Wait, Radio Master, is there one on here? Radio Master. Ooh. Is that what you were talking about? This is a T16S. Radio Master. I don't know much about this one. Multi-protocol RF module, OpenTX. Let's look at some of that. It's got a plenty big enough screen. I mean, my goodness, you could watch a movie on there. Actually, is it for an FPV feed? Because it seems like that would work well enough for an FPV feed. That is quite a case. Seems like it has a pretty good form factor. It's got a whole ton of switches and knobs. What do we got? Oh my gosh, we got a slider. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 switches on one side, probably the same 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. So 8 switches. Is there another slider on the other side? A bunch of stuff. 8 switches, 2 knobs, probably 2 slider thingies. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff right there. What are those things in the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are those channels? Oh, that's no. Is that what that is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff right there. Oh, I guess I should have asked. Where did that go? Jonathan. When you say what's the best bang for your buck transmitter for a noob? Yeah, short answer i6X. But also, what are you flying though? Are you flying an FPV quadcopter or like a RC airplane or something like that? Either way, it's still the i6X. But that is going to make a big difference, because if you fly FPV quadcopters and you, like for example, and you just use your thumbs, then, well, you could go with something that is more for like what is that? The TBS Tango, right? The Tango. Is that what that's called? They have that, right? Don't they have that here? Okay, maybe not. Or is it called the? I thought it was called the Tango. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Well, like the Free Sky or the Frisky X-Lite, just as one example. That's more like a kind of like a game style controller, which honestly at this point I would still not recommend, unless you just plan on using a module for it anyway. Does this one have the drop-in module? I don't know if that's for the module or not. Anyway, point is that this guy, this one, you just use your thumbs. It's not really great for pinching. It's not really designed for pinching or using both your thumb and your finger. So that would make a difference. Also, the number of switches and knobs and stuff, because you don't really need that many switches and knobs. I mean, for a quadcopter, well, for me, I use that's my arming switch. I use that as my turtle mode switch. I use the knob usually as like a beeper, and then I use this switch as my flight mode switch, and that's pretty much it. I don't use this knob, and I don't use. Yeah, I don't use this one, but I might start using it as like a rates switch, so I can go from like my freestyle rates to like my cinematic rates or my cinewooping rates or something like that. Good question though. There's always, and there's always debate about, oh, well, this transmitter is so much better than that transmitter and this one and all that stuff. And a lot of that does depend on your skill level, and then also just kind of personal preference and stuff. So that's cool. Dante Supreme says, I would like to 3D print an amphibious FPV RC vehicle for air and sea. Please, could you show me how to design a small ship's bow? I don't know. That's a good question. So do you mean like a seaplane? I've actually never designed a seaplane, and also I don't really know much about ships, to be honest with you. So I don't really, I don't think I could really help you there, to be honest. Also, design it like in Fusion 360, or just design it like make it out of foam or something like that. So I'm not sure, but I would check out I would look into like the flight test foam planes that they have that are amphibious, and you might get some ideas from those, or watch one of like the build videos or something that might help you out there. Oh, I'm sorry, you said 3D printed. Duh, I forgot about that part. Okay, 3D printed. Yeah, for 3D printing, you would probably want to use Fusion or something like that. So yeah, I can't really show you right now because I'd have to like figure out how to do it first. Daytona FPV says the jumper T16 has a JR module, but get a T16S and you have one built into the radio and can still put a Crossfire module inside the JR bay. JR module as one built into the radio. Okay, so I guess that way you could switch. You could switch from, you could use Crossfire for some stuff, and then you could just switch without having to take anything apart. You could switch to a different protocol. Yeah, so that would be cool. So, I mean, that's definitely, that is something to consider. But it is more of an investment. It is more of a long-term investment. Orange DIY. Hello, Orange. Welcome, Orange. Daytona FPV says Radio Master is run by a guy that left Jumper because of issues. The screen is color and the touch in the Pro models. So Radio Master is run by a guy that left Jumper. Okay, so I take it there's a little bit of similarity maybe in the products. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that more. I'll have to research that more. Orange, I'm not familiar with that language, so if you could translate that, I'd be happy to answer the question. But Orange does say FreeSky X9D, so take that for what it's worth there. Now Daytona FPV says between the two, Radio Master is better than the Jumper version. The Jumper version has ribbon cable issues. The buttons in the middle is a 6-position switch for selecting flight modes. Oh, that's what those buttons are. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it looks like a good radio for sure. Just more of an investment, I would say. Daniel says, I want an FPV drone with shoot. I choose for beginners. Okay. I'm not sure I understand that, but maybe I will. Anish says, have you got any interference with a quad and the quad got away and crashed? Yes. I have not had like a flyaway situation. So fortunately the fail-safe has always worked, and the fail-safe is almost always, nowadays I always have it set to drop. So it just drops out of the sky. So it's like, it's unfortunate because it drops out of the sky. But at the same time, it is still better than it just going woo and just leaving forever. And whether a quad or an airplane, in both cases, it just pretty much is just set to drop out of the sky. I don't think I've had any flyaway situations, which is good because a flyaway would be very not good. So that's why you always want to make sure you have your fail-safe set up, folks. And I have some videos talking about the fail-safe as well, so be sure to check those out. Is there anything else? I'm trying to make sure that I covered everything. Oh, one more thing I do want to share with you guys is, whoopah, look at this. This is just a fun thing because, we're going to be talking more about 3D printing in future videos and stuff. Because I've been into 3D printing for a little while now, but haven't had a whole lot of it on the channel. Oh, and I have a really fun project coming up that should be awesome if it works, and still pretty awesome even if it doesn't. Anyway, take a look at this puzzle cube that I printed. I got this design off of Thingiverse. This is designed by Wild Rose Builds. Look at this guy. I printed it using some white PLA, some 3D Fuel Pro PLA in black, and the Workday 3D Fuel Workday PLA in the clear. And I think it looks really cool. But what's cool about it is a puzzle. Wait, where is it? Look at that. All of these parts just fit together. This is so cool. If I can just, I'm trying to hold it so you can actually see it, but so it looks kind of weird because the parts, because like the white I printed ended up kind of black on one side because I have some black left, but I think that is so cool. So if you like puzzles, you can definitely print some awesome puzzles, because what's so neat is it just prints like this. It's just a single, or it prints in this one piece here, but all the pieces are identical. So you just print 3 of these, and it printed standing up like that. And so you just print 3 of these, and then you can fit them together. Let's see if I remember how to put these together. And what's so cool, if we can get a shot of this, let me make sure I think we can get this here, is that these all fit. They have to go in together like at the same time. This is not working. How is that supposed to go? Oh wait, it goes like that. It's so difficult to get it back together. Wait, shoot. No, that goes like that, because I had turned it around. No, it goes like this. Oh my gosh, it took me like a long time to figure out how to actually get it together. I had to watch like the tutorial videos. Wait, so this goes like that. Okay, so 2 of them, you can get 2 of them together really pretty easily. And then the third one though, it has to go, okay, it goes like this. All right, but you have to get them all to like go in at the same time. Wait, how did I have that? Oh, it has to be like this. Yeah, okay. So like so like this goes in, no, wait. Okay. That one. This goes like that, and then that has to slide in to there. I'm telling you guys, if you 3D print stuff, print out one of these puzzles, and you will be amazed at how difficult it is to put together. Does it go like that? I think it does. Oh, there we go. Okay, so like that. So these all have to come together. I just thought this thing was so cool, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Probably one of the most satisfying things that I have 3D printed. Very cool, especially if it's in like multiple colors. So definitely go check that out. You can get that like on Thingiverse, or in fact, let me show you just to make sure that you guys can actually find it. Thingiverse.com, and we'll do Wild Rose builds. Wild Rose builds. I don't know, puzzle cube. Oh, come on, man. All right, fine. I cannot stand search functions that like where you have to get things exactly right. It's like, come on. Oh man, there are so many cool puzzle cubes. I gotta do some more printing. My goodness. Cause like they are actually super fun and satisfying to print. So look, yeah. So that's how it prints. And then it's like just like this. And what's that? Oh, that's a stand. I don't want a stand though. So they printed it with those colors, and they're showing here. So yeah, that's how it prints. And then like, it's so cool because it just like slides together. Oh, what? It's crazy. Because usually you would think like, oh yeah, I can just like put one piece in and then put the last piece in, but no, you got to put them all in at the same time. All right, that might not be interesting to anybody, but I thought that it was like very, very interesting to me. So let me make sure that oh, okay, so I want to make sure I answer any questions you guys have left. Oh, Anish asks, do you use return to launch for the, I guess for the failsafe? No, it's just drop. And the reason why is because I don't have a GPS. set up in any of my quadcopters, and I don't have any sort of like camera quads, like, you know, DJI stuff. So I just drops out of the sky is how I have it set up. Oh, Jonathan says he smacked his Mavic Mini into a limb, hopefully a tree limb, not a human limb, and it took off on its own. Luckily, it hit another limb and then the ground. So, wow, yeah, that would be very sad if it's like, you know, you just get your Mavic Mini and then it's like, it just runs away. I don't know if anybody has ever seen a movie called Funny Farm, but it's a hilarious movie with Chevy Chase, and there's a scene where they move to this farm, and he gets this new dog, and he brings the dog home and he like lets it out of the car, and then the dog, they're like, oh, isn't this great, the dog can, you know, run around and has space, and the dog just takes off out of the car, starts running down the field, and runs past the barn and just keeps on running, and it just runs away. It just like immediately runs away. Oh gosh. Oh, anyway, so that's kind of like to be like with your quad. If you imagine like you just buy your DJI Mavic or whatever, and then you're like, yeah, let's fire this up, and then like you turn it on and it just starts up. Oh, does anybody else find that really funny? I think that's hilarious. I mean, it'd be a terrible thing to have happen, but you know, you start up your quad for the first time and it just like keeps going up and up and up. Gosh, that would be, oh, so funny. Oh, anyway. Yeah, Luca, you should print that cube. Go print it now. Do it, because it's super satisfying, and it's great because you just download one file and you can print as many as you want. So very cool. Oh man, that's hilarious. But glad you got your Mavic backs, and then that didn't just happen like that. So Dante says, please show me a 16 channel receiver. Well, what type of receiver like for quadcopters or for airplanes? Because 16 channels for airplanes is very uncommon, I would say. Very uncommon. For quadcopters, what is it, iBus or S-Bus that does 16? One of them does 16 and one of them does 14. I can't remember which ones though. Anish, you're welcome. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Mavic Mini came out unscathed, so that's good. That's good. Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, but Dante, yes, as far as a 16 channel receiver, I believe that would be an S-Bus receiver that you're looking for right there. If you're talking about a quadcopter receiver. Now, is there a reason why you need 16 channels, or is it just like that it uses 16? It can use 16 channels, because like if you have. Because with a quadcopter, typically you only use, you would only use like, oh, it's raining outside. Wow. Typically with a quadcopter, you would only use like 4 channels for the motors, one for each. No, wait. Yes. Well, no, sorry. One for each input. So 4 channels for the sticks, and then like an arming switch, maybe another switch for something else, and another. So maybe 9 channels total. Obviously you could use more, but typically that might be how many you would use. So probably like 10 channels or less for a quadcopter is what I would guess. Frag says, thanks for yet another great RC related chat. Thank you, Frags. Appreciate it. It's always good to just hang out and talk FPV, RC, and 3D printing stuff. Because like I said, we are going to be seeing more of this stuff because I have this in hand. In fact, after this video, probably I'm going to be taking apart my my CR10, which you can see behind me right there, and doing this conversion. I won't be doing a DIY video on that because there's already a really good one out there, I think, by Teaching Tech, I think is the channel. maybe or something. But we'll talk about that when we actually have sort of a review like video for this thing. But yeah, it should be really cool. And the reason why this stuff is cool, now that I'm talking about it, is that it is also, well, what I said before, it's like polypropylene, so it's like very resilient, durable material. But it's like, what did they say? It's like 23% lighter. It says a full spool. What does it say? It says the spool weights are lower. A full spool of OBC, 768 grams, will print the same amount as a 1 kilogram spool of PLA. So what that means is there's, you know, it's lighter for the same amount of volume. So that is pretty cool. It's not cheap though. I guess I should mention that it's not cheap. It's like $34 for a for half a spool, which would be which should print the equivalent of 500 grams. Anyway, I don't know. It might work out. It might suck, to be honest with you, because I don't know. But we're gonna test it out and we're gonna figure it out. Again, Fargo 3D Printing. Go check those guys out if you need to get some 3D printing stuff, because I think they have really good stuff. And if you want to support RC with Adam and what we do here to help you build competence and confidence in the RC hobby and beyond in the rest of your life, because it will just spill over, you can go to ko-fi.com/RCwithAdam. There's a link in the description down there, and check that out. And also my website, of course, if you don't want to deal with the YouTube stuff of like having all the YouTube trash on there and the ads and all the other videos, you can go to my website and stay tuned to that, because there will be more website-y stuff coming up. I'm going to be making it even better and better for you. So thanks again for watching, everybody. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support, and I will see you again very soon. Have a good one.